Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the content that I put out so far. We've gained a couple subscribers, so thank you guys for joining the Mafia family. Get us out there and tell your friends about us and let them know we're here. All right. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk about a film that came out in on June 25th of 1982. And it was directed by the great John Carpenter. And a lot of you know that John Carpenter directed such great films as Village of the Damned. And that was with Christopher Reeve and Kirstie Alley. He also directed In the Mouth of Madness, which was an awesome film. Very well done. Very well done. And he also directed the classic Christine. All right. So today's film is John Carpenter's The Thing. And this was an awesome film starring Kurt Russell, who plays the character of R.J. McCready. And he's also played in such films as Unlawful Entry, a little film called Bone Tomahawk, and he also played in Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Now, I haven't seen any of those films. The only one I've seen is Unlawful Entry, which was an excellent film. It had him and Ray Liotta was in it as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Ray Liotta. And the film also stars Keith David, who plays the character of Childs. And he's played in such great films as Marked for Death. And that was with Steven Seagal. And he also played in the film Pitch Black with Vin Diesel, which was an awesome film. Awesome film, by the way. I loved it. And he also played in the sequel to Tales from the Hood 2. And it was a direct-to-DVD type deal. It didn't come out in theaters. The second one and the third one were direct-to-DVD. They were decent. They were decent films. Nothing wrong with them. And the film also stars the great Wilfred Brimley, who plays the character of Blair. And he's also played in such films as Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. He also played in Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And he played in the classic Cocoon with Steven Guttenberg. Alright, so the plot for this film is a research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the trailer for John Carpenter's The Thing. Here we go.
What were they doing flying that low? Shooting at a dog. At us.
Guys as crazy as that could have done a lot of damage to their own before they got to us.
U.S. number 31, calling McMurdo. Come in, over.
You see, what we're talking about here is an organism that imitates other life forms. And it imitates them perfectly.
U.S. number 31, calling McMurdo. Urgent.
All right, that was the trailer for John Carpenter's The Thing. It had an estimated budget of $15 million, and the worldwide gross was $20,847,528. Not too bad, not too good, but not too bad either. Uh, John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the most entertaining horror films ever made. Fast, clever, purely exciting from start to finish. It is a seminal piece of horror that is not only a fine specimen of its era, but it also serves as a shining example of horror done right in any era. Combining gross special effects, reminiscent of Hellraiser, the intense, claustrophobic filmmaking of Alien, offering a story that is well paced, such as Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and presenting the idea that true terror can be found at any time, any place, and in anyone, such as Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This film works on every level and represents the peak of each and every aspect that can be used to make an effective horror film. This is a truly amazing film that is worshipped not only by horror buffs, but anyone who has good taste in films. I have said it and said it and said it so many times. If you have a good atmosphere, if you set the pace if you set the ambiance and the pace for the film, it will work. No matter what the plot is, it will work if you build up that suspense and that tension. The John Carpenter's The Thing is a classic film that does just that. Like I said, it sets a pace, it builds up the ambiance and the atmosphere, and it gives you the sense of not only claustrophobia, but of not being able to trust who is who and what is what in this film. This is a fantastic horror film if you've never seen it before, and you like good, tense, claustrophobic, and inducing films. This is the one for you. This film was simply fantastic. The cast was great. The special effects stole the show, in my opinion. Several of the scenes with the alien transforming and mutating and things of that nature, simply fantastic. And it was all done with practical effects. There was no CGI in this film that I am aware of. So, with that being said, you can make a decent horror film, and it has been done several times, not only with this film, but with other films, without going overboard on the CGI. I really can't stand a film that is just coated with CGI, because sometimes it's so easy to pinpoint what's CGI and what isn't. Whereas if you use practical effects more often, then it's a little harder to tell which is which. So I thoroughly enjoyed this film so much for that reason, for the practical effects. Even though it wasn't, even though it wasn't very well received when it first got released, it was compared a lot to Aliens when it first came out, but it has now received the recognition that it deserves after all these years. It's not only has a cult following, but like I said, if you're a horror buff, you know of this movie and you love this movie just as much as anybody else. It's a fantastic film. I can't go on enough about it. All right, so now we're going to get into the trivia for the thing. It has actually become a tradition in British Antarctic research stations to watch the thing as part of their midwinter feast and celebration held the 21st of June every year. Wow. That's saying a lot. That's a pretty cool atmosphere to be able to watch this film in, because you're in Antarctica already at research station, just like in the film. So the level of being insecure and tension has got to be high, especially when watching this type of film. John Carpenter has stated that of all his films, this is his personal favorite, and I can understand why. I can understand why. Thank you, John Carpenter, for making this film. um, the film is considered a benchmark in special makeup effects. The effects were created by Rob Bottin, who was only 22 when he started the project. To be that good of a special effects artist at the age of 22 is simply amazing. There are not very many out there that are that were that good at that age. So that's fantastic. Uh, Unused music composed for this film was later used by Ennio Morricone in Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight in 2015. The music score for this film was really good. It was really good. I guess I'm going to have to watch the Hateful Eight, which I haven't seen yet. I guess I'm going to have to watch it just to listen to what music was pulled from the thing and used in that film, just to see what it sounded like. The blood test scene was what convinced Carpenter to make this film. He was also adamant to create a monster movie where the creature wasn't obviously played by a man in a suit, something that had bothered him somewhat while watching Alien from 1979. So here's a guy that watched a film that wasn't his own film, of course, and got ideas on how to do things his way by watching someone else. You learn from others, and that's proof of it right there. Season 1, Episode 8 of The X-Files, entitled Ice, is a direct homage to this film. Now, I'm not a big X-Files fan. I watched a few episodes, but not very many. I might have to go check that episode out if I can find it streaming somewhere and watch it. This is the first of Carpenter's feature films which he did not score himself. The original choice was Jerry Goldsmith, but he passed. Then Ennio Morricone was hired. Jerry Goldsmith is also a great composer, does a great job at creating a music score for films. So, but like I said, Ennio Morricone did an excellent job with this film. The female voice on MacReady's computer was performed uncredited by the then wife of John Carpenter, Adrienne Barbeau. I had no idea they were even married. I mean, that blows my mind. But yeah, that's a pretty cool little tidbit of information right there. Too bad she was uncredited for it. I wonder why they decided to not give her credit for it, but who knows. This film was originally banned in Finland. Wonder why. Okay. Multiple alternate endings were filmed, with even more endings planned and considered to some capacity. Unfilmed endings include a climactic showdown between MacReady and Childs, a rescue chopper arriving to pick them up, and then the two commit suicide with one final stick of dynamite. I would love to see some of those other endings for this film. It would be absolutely fantastic to watch those. And the way they would have done these would have been cool. I'm not real sure about the rescue chopper showing up. I mean, I kind of would have kind of seen them leaving that ending out, because as it stands right now, the way the film ended, there has been a huge debate on who was the alien. Was MacReady taken over by the alien, or was Childs at the end of the film? And what happened to both of them? It just shows them just sitting there at the end of the movie drinking a bottle of whiskey, and you don't know what happened. So there's a big debate that's been going on for years as to who survived, who didn't, who was the alien, and who wasn't at that time. So those other endings would have been fantastic uh, to see filmed and just see like behind the scenes footage of those endings. It would have been fantastic in my opinion. Like I said, this is a tremendously excellent film. One of John Carpenter's best films, in my opinion. A fantastic story, a fantastic plot. It is a remake of an original black and white film. I think there was two of them. In the two original films, and then this was a remake of those. And then there was a prequel that came out in around 2011 that was excellent. So definitely check it out too if you haven't seen it before. But definitely go back and watch this one this Halloween season. This is a classic. You won't be sorry that you went back to watch this. And if you've already seen it before, why not go ahead and revisit it? Because I know I will. At some point in time before Halloween gets here, I am going to sit down and watch this movie again. This movie was fantastic. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to end the video here. The next time I will be here will be on Thursday Thursday for a classic movie buffet theater, in which I have another good action movie lined out to talk about. So hopefully you'll tune in for that. Like I said, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching these videos and liking the videos. We're starting to get some likes on videos, which is fantastic. I'm glad you all are liking them. And please feel free to leave a comment. If you cannot leave a comment on the videos, I apologize. I think at one time there was some kind of setting or something on there to where a person could not comment on the videos, which I thought I had it fixed, and I hope I still have it fixed. So leave a comment if you feel obligated to do so. By all means, let me know what you thought of this film. Is it one of your favorite John Carpenter films? What is your favorite John Carpenter film? And we'll talk about just whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want to talk about, leave a comment. We'll talk about it. So we're going to end the video right now. And like I said, I will see you guys on Thursday for a classic movie buffet theater. Until then, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.